Hi everyone. Alright, on this one I just went with two colors, the Ranger inks in Cool Perry and Aqua, which I love both of those colors, but they're so pastel that I don't use them very often. But I had decided I really wanted to do sort of a light colored one because I haven't in a very long time. Everything I've done lately, it seems like, has been pretty vibrant. So I just kind of wanted some pastels to give that a try. And so that was the only two I used on this one, other than the Pinata Brass, which I always use for my metallic. This one is on 11 by 14 Yupo. And I specifically chose Yupo for this because of the Cool Perry. It's one of the colors that will stain the Yupo and will kind of separate out, and you'll get some other colors out of it as well. So I really wanted that one to get that color blend or separation of colors, I guess, in there. On this one, let me apologize first because this is one that I did do a lot of just blowing on with my mouth, and I have not yet figured out a way that I can get a camera angle where you all can actually see what I'm doing, because I either have to pick the paper up which is easiest for me really, but I have to either pick it up and kind of blow it and tilt it at the same time to where I want it to go. And when I do that, it totally, pulls it out of the camera angle. And if I bend over towards it, then my head, or in this case, my hat, because I was wearing a hat to keep my hair out of my eyes when I was painting. So, either the bill of my hat blocks the view, or my head's going to block the view or something. I just cannot figure out a really good camera angle to let you all see exactly what I'm doing. And it's not even really anything that I can tell you. That's one of those things that it's just completely by feel. Gosh, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's just completely by feel. I'll blow on it, and if I see it going the wrong way, or somewhere I don't want it to go, I'll tilt my paper the other way and blow from a little bit different angle, things like that. And then I did use my Revlon styling brush hairdryer with the brush attachment removed to completely finish drying the sections once I got done working each part of that. And you'll see I'm using it here too. I decided to go in and start out with some of my ink down already. Just go ahead and put some of it down and dry it, and then come back and start working it. And I did add some more ink in as I was working it, where I would see spots where it was getting a little too pastel. It was losing too much color. Cool Perry is kind of a hard color to work with unless you just, leave it like this, like you see right now on the screen. The more you spread it, the more you just don't even see it. It just kind of, all of it, or most of it at some point, will absorb into your Yupo if that's what you're painting on. It's not quite as bad to do this on some of the other substrates, like the Nara synthetic art paper and the graphics craft plastic, which I don't know why. I really don't have a clue. It's got to be something to do with the chemistry of it. But like all three of those are synthetic art papers, and they're made from polypropylene, which is basically plastic. So I don't really understand why the Yupo stains. The others don't usually stain, although they can be stained because I've done that before. But I don't know. I don't know what it is about the Yupo. But the Cool Perry keeps its color a little bit better on the others. But I wanted the staining on this one, so that was exactly why I used Yupo for this. I wanted that depth. If you can learn how to use your inks on Yupo the inks that separate out into different colors, then you can get some incredible looks because it just adds a depth to it that's not there otherwise. That underlying shade of blue or pink or whatever happens to come out of the color that you're working is just it really just adds something to it to me. Sort of like putting down 2 colors at once. And sometimes almost 3 colors at once, because the inks that are still moving that aren't soaking into the Yupo or staining the Yupo can separate into a couple of different colors from there. So it's pretty cool, but it's a little tricky. This was when I first started. I started on Yupo until I had learned about the being able to use the back side of photo paper and how much cheaper, way cheaper than the Yupo. And so I switched to the photo paper while I was learning. And when I went back to the Yupo, I really realized just how much more difficult it was to do it on there, because you don't want to just wash all of your top color off of the stain and just have this stained part and then other color somewhere else. You've got to keep your ink sort of overlapping on the stained area. I hope that's making some kind of sense. I know a lot of times things that I say, they make perfect sense to me because I know exactly what I'm talking about, but I may not be making it clear enough to you all. So, just let me know in the comments if you don't understand something. See, there's my hat. Sorry about that. If you don't understand something that I'm explaining on here, if I'm not being clear enough, and I'll do my best to give you an answer that might be a little bit more clear and understandable. Alright, so once I got this part down, you can see I went back with the Pinata Brass and put just a drop or 2 of it down along the outer edge, and then used my alcohol and just sort of made a little circle around it and, blew it into the ink, the dried ink puddle that I had. I blew it over the top of it. I sort of swirled it around a little. I was trying to pick up some of the brass off of the paper that was there, but it doesn't want to move really well like this, which is one reason that I would blow on it. And when I would blow on it, I would try to make sure that I got a good puff of wind right on where I put the brass down to kind of move the bits that had sunk and stuck to the paper, so you didn't end up with a hole. You can see I started to pick it up and I thought, no, I'll put it down so you all can see. And then I totally forgot that I had this hat on. I would have gone and taken it off and just let y'all see my crazy hair. I desperately need a trip to the hairdresser. I'm hoping that they'll open back up soon, since at the time of this recording, we're still in the COVID-19 lockdowns, so we have no hairdressers at all in our area that are open, and I've actually heard of some in other places that have been arrested for trying to open their salons. So I hate that. I hate that for them, because I know when you own your own small business, especially a time like this can just completely break you, end up having to close up your business. So, alright, so I put a little more drop of color down there before, and then I put a little more of the brass on it. It was too narrow. I wanted it to spread out a little bit more, and I had already started losing some of my shading from the Cool Perry. So I wanted to get a little more purple in there. And I did this a time or two, and then I decided to try to finish up what I had down already and then go back and try to fill in places that I felt like it was too narrow or wasn't balanced well with the colors. And that's something that if you've done art before, you completely understand. If you are brand new to art and trying to do something like this, you can probably understand it as well. If you look at your painting and something just seems off, then it's either your color placements or your composition, one or the other, the shape of your painting. And you may just need to go in somewhere and just, sometimes all you need is to add one little section of color where you didn't have it before. Or sometimes you just need to go back in with your color right on top of another section that you've already done. But when you really look at it once you're finished, you can see that it's just too light. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the painting. Now there's times things like that can look good. And, it's just going to vary from painting to painting. But, even if you know absolutely nothing at all about art, you can still look at something and you just get that feeling that something's off and that something not quite right. So, listen to that when you have it and when you have that feeling. And if you're not sure, go ask someone else. I still do that. I will go ask my husband, look at this. To me, it feels like there's something off in it, but I don't tell him what. I just say, look at it really good and tell me if you see something that I need to go back in and work on a little bit more. And usually when that happens, when I have to ask him, he usually will say, yeah, that place right there. It's the one that I had already picked out. But if you're not sure, just ask someone. If you're obviously, if you overwork a painting, you can mess it up just as much as if you underwork it. So, just use your best judgment. And if you're really not sure, then ask someone else to take a look at it and, and make sure they understand that you want them to be honest. That's the reason I tell my husband, I feel like there's something off with this. So that he doesn't have that fear that he has to say, oh, no, it's beautiful, honey. It's gorgeous. Your best one yet. So, not that he's really likely to do that anyway, because I would get really mad at him if he did, because there's times that I absolutely know that is nowhere near one of my, most gorgeous, best ones. So he doesn't do that. He's a very good critic for me, because he usually can spot some things that I've already spotted and maybe need to be worked on. And then there's other times when something I didn't think was quite right, he did. So, he just said, no, I think it looks good. It seems to fit in with the painting. So get that second opinion. Y'all can tell I've been using this same pad forever, and I've got to change this before I do any more painting, because I'm getting little fuzzies everywhere. So I just kept on working this up through there, mostly just blowing on it. And let me tell y'all, I really enjoy painting like that. I don't know what it is about it. I really do like this, just moving the ink with my breath and with moving the paper. However, I get massive headaches from doing this, and I know it's from inhaling the isopropyl fumes. So I almost did not put this video on here. So let me put a disclaimer in here for you all. I do not recommend doing this, especially if you have any sort of lung problems. I actually have my respirator laying out because I was using my respirator yesterday while I was painting, which I have started doing because I'm having so much trouble with headaches when I'm painting. And it's not too bad when I'm using the hairdryer. I think part of it is because my face isn't right in the fumes constantly, and I'm not drawing in deep breaths to blow back out. But I'm using the respirator when I use my hair dryer. But with this, obviously I can't. And I did actually I don't know how well I'm going to be able to use it, but I just got one of the Tim Holtz air bulb squeezy things that I'm going to try. But with the arthritis in my hands, I'm not really sure how much I'll be able to use that. And I'm not really sure that I'm going to like it because I'm used to a much wider area of airflow. So I'm not sure how good I'm going to be with using that bulb, period. But I thought I would give it a shot, and then that way maybe I can sort of work like this without having to actually blow on it with my mouth myself. Although one of the kind of cool things about blowing on it, and I don't want to try and talk you all into it, I seriously don't. But one of the kind of cool things is you get that little bit of water beading in there, just the moisture from your breath, and it adds just a little something extra here and there. I don't like a lot of those water beads, and there's some paintings I don't like them in at all. They drive me nuts. But there's something about the way a painting looks when it's done this way that the water beads actually look pretty good in it, the little spots that are left from the water. And I hit it with the hairdryer usually on low heat for just a minute when I'm painting like this to sort of dry up those water beads a little bit faster so that they don't end up too noticeable or dark or, but you still get that kind of hint of them in there, which I think is pretty cool. Excuse me. All right, so you can see another spot where I knew I was going to need some more color right there. And when I saw those, I usually just put down the ink and then the brass on top of it and then the alcohol, while everything was wet. But as you can see with this particular spot that I was working, it doesn't work as well with this color when I do that with the Cool Perry. And I've noticed that with, I can't remember what color it was now, was another painting that I had done not too long ago where I was blowing on it, that the color looks better if I put it down and dry it first, and then come back over with the brass and the alcohol. I'm not sure what it is. I felt like the color washed out a lot more if I didn't dry it first. It didn't hold a lot of its original color. That's the best way I can kind of think of to put it on that one. So I did, occasionally would try and do it that way, and sometimes I would do it the other way. Sometimes I would try and dry it first, like you see here, and then other times I would just put it down and move it while everything was still wet. It just kind of depended, and every now and then I would forget that I wanted to dry it first because I'm not used to painting like this very often, and so I tend to forget exactly what I need to do on these. And I am going to do a video. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do a video very soon. A resining video again. I've had quite a few questions about people wanting to see the process of how to affix the Yupo to a cradle board or something and then resin over top of it. So, and I may actually I think I'm probably going to use this painting to do that. So, so at some point in the next week or two, I will do that, because I actually already sold this painting, and the person that bought it wants it mounted on cradle board and resined. So since I'm going to be doing that to this painting that you're watching right now anyway, I might as well do the video on that for you all while I'm in the process of doing it. All right, for any of you who have not heard me say it so far, pinata brass for your metallic, and you can see why when I move the painting, and you can really see that shimmer and shine from the brass. This is the only metallic that I have found so far that I can get these kind of results with. You can see how parts of it float, and that is what moves around and leaves you those kind of veins. That's the only thing I can think of to call them, these little golden veins that run through it. Some of it does blend a little bit with your ink, and you'll get a lot of the just underlying shimmer from that when it's in the light. But then you'll get a lot of those little veins and little chunky spots here and there of the brass, which looks gold. So yeah, that is my number one go-to metallic. If I want metallic in a painting, it's the company is Jacquard. It's Jacquard alcohol inks. The Pinata line, which a lot of you are using, like the Pinata Exciter pack of their alcohol inks. And this is just the brass color that is by the Jacquard Pinata line. There's not I don't think I did anything new on this one to really tell y'all about. This is just very similar to one other one that I had shown you all, where I was trying to do blowing on the ink. So it's pretty much the excuse me, the exact same thing. I'm sorry, it's allergies. I forgot to take my allergy medicine last night, and so I'm all stopped up. My throat's scratchy and stuff today. The wind has been blowing here, and it's got a terrible amount of pollen and things stirred up in the air. So there you can see I'm just moving the paper around for a second to try and pick up some of that brass. And there, once again, I am really, really sorry that you all can't see this very good. I hate that there's not some other way that I can think of to do it, but I kind of have to have my face on the paper in order to paint like this. So I don't know, other than, I mean, I could set it up from the side, but if I do that, you're not going to be able to tell, you're not going to be able to see that overhead view that helps you see a lot more of what I'm doing with putting down the inks or using the hairdryer and things like that. Y'all will see me constantly wiping my fingers there. It took me a while to figure out what was going on, because I kept getting these just globs of the brass on my hand. I could not figure out for the life of me where it was coming from. And, you know, I would wipe the tip off of my bottle so I didn't have a lot of things running down. And I finally realized that the plastic was cracked around, not right at the tip, but down around where it screws onto the bottle. The plastic was cracked, and just enough was kind of seeping out through there that it could occasionally kind of run down the bottle a little bit. It was getting all over my hands. And when I would shake it up, I think was the biggest part. And I looked like I was turning into some sort of gilded statue by the time I got done with this. So this one turned out to be one of my favorite paintings that I have done in a while. I think it was the colors, because I am just a huge fan of aqua and any shade of purple pretty much, but especially this kind of periwinkle, lavender, light purples. I love those. And the pinks that come out of the Cool Perry, that pastel pink, purple, and aqua together would probably be, it's definitely one of my favorite color blends. Although pretty much any shades, any, my mind's gone blank now. But no matter how dark or light the color is, if it's purple, pink, and sort of, any shade of aqua or turquoise or some, certain blues together, those are just my all-time favorite color blends anyway. Was trying to think if there was any other questions that I have been getting a lot of lately. Because I keep having the feeling that I'm answering the same questions over and over again. But I've got to find my little notepad so I can start writing these down. A lot of what I've been getting is about supplies. No, I don't know where you can find alcohol right now. You might just get lucky and find it on Amazon because people have. And you might get lucky and find it in your local grocery store, Walmart, or wherever you happen to be. I did. I was able to get some 91% at the store. And that will be, one bottle of that will be in the giveaway for supplies that I will be doing. And that will be coming up very soon. Sometime within the next 2 weeks maximum, I will be doing the giveaway. And I will be letting you all know how to enter that as it gets to be time. And I'm really sorry that here lately these videos are so spread out. I'm not getting them posted nearly as often as I would like. I am painting some, and I have videos. The problem is I don't have time to edit them and do these voiceovers. I can't figure out where my time is going because we have this stay-at-home order. We can't even go out and do anything, but yet I feel like I have no time to do voiceovers and things. I don't know what's happening to my time. So, bad time management on my part. So that's one reason I wanted to get this one up just as quickly as I could, because I know that a lot of you have been waiting quite a while for me to post a video. Don't worry that I have just quit and given up if you don't see a video from me for a week or two. It just means that, life has gotten busy and I haven't had time to sit down and do the voiceover even if I have a painting. Especially on some of them, because some of them are just longer videos than others. Just depending on what I'm doing, or just how much I struggle on one sometimes. But it can take, an hour or better for a lot of them. And then a lot of them, might be 35, 45 minutes. So it just depends. Like on this painting, I actually went back after I had stopped videoing. I was getting ready to tape it to my board to let it sit for a day or two and dry good so I could seal it, and saw a couple of things that I just really wasn't very happy with when I looked at them. So that's not on here, and I'm really sorry, but it wasn't anything major. It was just kind of a matter of needing to get like a sharp edge off somewhere. So all I would do is put down a drop of alcohol or something and, kind of get that little sharp edge off, things like that. That was really all I did when I went back and worked on it. And I should have gone ahead and videoed it for you and just added it to this, but I was, being very lazy. And I didn't want to run back upstairs and get my phone and my charger, because if I don't plug my phone in the charger, it dies before I can get done. I desperately need a new phone. Let's see. There I'm just, just hitting it with the dryer, trying to get it dry so that it doesn't move when I get ready to put down something else, and so those little water spots don't just get completely out of control. It leaves a fainter mark if I hit it with the dryer. But if you're doing that, be careful, if you're using your heat setting so that you don't warp your Yupo. And what I was using was the medium weight. I didn't have any heavy weight that was this size, so I used the medium weight, and you got to be really careful about not getting too much heat on your paper like that. Let me say welcome to all you new subscribers. My count has been going up much more quickly than I expected it to. And the reason I can't give you all an exact date for when I do the giveaway for my celebration for 5,000 subscribers is because I have not gotten all of the supplies yet that I'm planning on doing in the giveaway. I have to wait until they get here because everything is shipping a lot slower right now. I was hoping things would get here a little bit quicker, and I waited just a touch too long to order because I really wasn't expecting the subscriber count to go up as quickly as it has over the last couple of weeks. I was actually thinking it was going to be closer to the end of May before I hit 5,000, but it's going to be more like probably within a couple of days of when you all see this video, or when I post this video, if not before. So because it's getting very close. I think I only have 13 to go, I think, before I hit 5,000. So and since it's going to be a dual celebration for 5,000 subscribers, and May 21st will be the 1-year anniversary of the time that I posted my first video. So I will be doing 2 giveaways at the same time. One will be for alcohol ink painting supplies, be ink, some paper, a bottle of alcohol, some things like that. And the other will be for a painting that I've done. And I think when I get a chance to make that video, once my supplies actually come, or your supplies, whoever wins, once the rest of that stuff gets here, then I will do just a little video letting you all know how to enter. So keep an eye out for that. I was planning on doing it on one of these, a painting video, but if I do that, it's going to get really confusing because I'm going to be getting questions and just general comments on the video at the same time, and it's going to make it a lot harder for me to filter out who's trying to enter the giveaway and who's just commenting on the video, especially since that video will, be continuing to go on. All right, well, there it is. This is the point where I left you all. You see, the only things that I went back and did anything with was just a couple of little edges that I wasn't thrilled with. So you really didn't miss anything. It looks almost exactly like it does right now. In fact, I'm not even sure you all can see some of the stuff that I saw. But you see that pinata brass shimmering in there? That's why I use it, because it just looks great in a painting. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for watching again, and thank you for subscribing and for putting up with all my run-ons that I do and getting off subject and everything. I hope that this has helped y'all a little bit, and I'll be back soon with another one. Bye, everyone.